Steve here coming at you with Banner Knowledge Bowling's next Pro Tip Tuesday. You're not a subscriber, please do so. Get a friend to subscribe. Let's grow the channel, spread the knowledge. So I get a lot of questions now around the ball adjustment and changing the ball. So let's throw the ball chart back up here and let's go into this in a little bit more detail. Okay, so when we look at the ball chart, we know that we can go up and down the chart with the heavy oil balls being at the top, get to the medium in the middle, and the light oil balls at the bottom. We also know we can go left and right. So the balls that are on the right are more angular, and the balls that are on the left are smoother. So let's look at that just a little bit more. When we talk about a ball being more angular, that means the ball can get down the lane further. So it doesn't dig into the lane as quickly, so it gets down the lane further, so it retains a little more energy. When bowling balls do that, when they find friction, that's key, when they find friction, they're going to act more violently and they're going to create more angle, or that's the hook that we see on the back part of the lane. Now, balls that are on the left side of the chart, these tend to be the low RG balls. These balls dig in, so they're not clean. They start digging into the pattern soon, or they start using energy more quickly. When bowling balls do that, they tend to be smoother on the back part of the lane and less angular. So when we're looking at the ball chart and we're looking at what's happening on the lane, we can use that knowledge. Do I go a little right? Do I go a little left? Do I go a little up? Or do I go a little down? But there's some more things to think about. The bowling balls have cores inside of them. Some cores are asymmetrical, and all that means is the ball is not the same on one side of the ball versus the other side of the ball. So if you'd cut it in half, it would be asymmetrical. It wouldn't look the same. A symmetrical ball, no matter how you spin it, if you cut it in half, is going to look the same left to right. So why is that important? Well, for you, what you need to figure out is when you throw an asymmetrical ball, what does it do for you? For me, these balls tend to be bigger and stronger, and they also tend to react more violently in the three stages. So when they skid a little more. When they hook a little more. When they roll a little bit more. And that sounds great, except when the lanes are really tough. Maybe you're on a really flat pattern, and we don't want the ball reacting so violently to the change from when the ball is in the oil to when it finds the friction on the back part of the lane. So a symmetrical ball tends, not always, but they tend to rev up easier, rev up a little sooner, and they tend to be a little less violent on the back part of the lane. But that's not the whole story, because the cover stock plays a big role in that. And if we put a cover stock on the ball that helps the ball get down the lane, and those tend to be the pearl cover stocks, they get down the lane the cleanest, the longest, and can get to that friction. When it finds friction, they tend to act the most quick. They tend to be fast, and that's the ball that creates a lot of angle. Where if we have a solid cover stock, those balls tend to, but not always, but they tend to rev up sooner. They're not as clean. They dig into the lane, so those balls tend to be more continuous. And then, of course, manufacturers have created hybrids where they combined a little bit of the pearl and a little bit of the solid, and I'm telling you, they can do everything in between. Motive also has a new technology called microcell, which is not reactive resin and not urethane. And that cover is absolutely unique. Check it out on these tanks. I'm telling you, you're going to love it. So, when we're talking about the surface, the other thing that we can do to a bowling ball is we can add surface to the ball. So if we look at an Abralon pad and they're numbered, the lower the number, the more grit it's going to add on to the bowling ball. If the ball has more grit, it's going to dig into the lane sooner. So it's going to slow down quicker, and it's probably going to be a little more continuous on the back part of the lane. If we go up in grit, so we go to a 1,000 pad, a 2,000 pad, a 4,000 pad, that's going to make the grit finer. It's going to get down the lane easier. It's going to retain energy a little bit longer. And that ball, when it finds friction, is probably going to be more angular. We can also add polish to the bowling ball. So when we're talking about changing the ball, it's a little bit more than going up, down, left, right on the chart. It's how we drilled it. It's the core that's inside the ball. It's the surface of the bowling ball. What's the cover stock? And how have we manipulated that cover stock? And again, we talked about how we drilled it. Do we drill the ball so that it's going to be more angular? Did we drill the ball so that it's going to start up a little sooner? Go to your pro shop professional. They will help you fine-tune your bowling balls to the conditions that you're facing. And that's the most important thing. What we want is we want to be able to give you equipment that reacts the way that you need while you're in competition. And when you need to make an adjustment, when the lanes start to get a little drier and they start to hook a little sooner, where can we go? Up and down on this chart, left, right. Maybe it's a new drilling, maybe it's a new surface on the bowling ball, maybe it's symmetrical versus asymmetrical. Help your pro shop help you get the reaction you need so that you can score your best. Hope this helps. You have any questions, comments, put it below and we'll chat about it. Talk to you next time. Thanks a lot.